All right, guys, moving on ahead with this Chrysler 200, the engine mounts. This will be actually the transmission mount. That's this guy right here. And it's going to be easier to get to if we take off the air cleaner upper portion. Don't look like we have to remove the bottom, but we do want to take this off. I'm going to take out the coolant, the air coolant sensor, or temperature sensor rather. Take off this vacuum hose. Just tuck it out of the way, and then we're going to undo this and take out the sensor. This one's missing the clip, and you just push down and pull out. So I'm going to get that out of the way, and then looks like we have access straight down to it. Should be a pretty easy shot. I'm going to put a jack, see if I could get more towards the back of the engine. All right, guys, I'll be back in a sec. All right, I took out the airbox just for visibility. It's pretty easy to pop out, so I figured just get a better look at it. That's the guy we're after right there. And this one comes down. There's a bolt in the front like this. Once we put that down there. All right, I'm going to put the jack under there and just give it a little bit of support. All right, I know it's tempting to want to put the jack underneath the tranny pan, but right behind it's the differential. It's a lot more solid metal to put it on. It's a little bit behind the engine, but I think just that'll give it enough support that we don't have to put anything on the pan itself. On the front, we were going off of the oil pan because it has stronger corners. This we probably could, but if there's a safer bet, I'd go for that. So what you want to do is just barely move the engine. If you see the engine move just a hair like that, that's good. Stop. That's going to give it enough support down both the upper mount. Hey guys, next let's put a little bit of PB blaster on these upper nuts. They're 15 millimeter. The one in the back, you do need a deep well to get on. And an extension makes it real nice too. I don't know if you could get a ratchet in there, but the ratchet makes it nice up top, and little extension. This one you don't need an extension at all, but I'm going to loosen these, and then we're going to move on. I'm going to loosen the one in the front and then these two. Hey guys, these bolts are 18 millimeter. I've got a 1/2 inch driving an extension on it for the back one. The front one you really don't. I don't know if you could get in there with just probably a deep well and a ratchet, but if you have an extension, it makes it a little bit easier to break it loose. These ones I don't want to take the whole way out yet until I get the one on the front loose. I just want to loosen them up. Then we have one more right here underneath, which looks like smaller than 18. I'm going to guess that's a 15 just by feeling it, but we shall see. Yes, it's a 15 millimeter bolt, and what I just got 3/8 ratchet. That's just a little extension. There's some room for leeway. You could use a longer one. This one barely clears the mount, but it's right under the round part. If you reach under there, you could feel it. We're going to just break him loose too. Such a relaxing sound. Even with all the power tools, sometimes you just like going back and hearing that old click. It's like the original fidget spinner. Alright guys, this is actually the best out of the four on the vehicle, and it's still pretty ripped. And I'm putting the other 3 on, so figure put tranny on, put them all in. If one's bad, it usually puts more of a stress on the other ones. But you know, take a good look at your mounts. If you got to replace one, check all 4, because it's if you find one tear, there's usually more. But this one so far is in the best shape. and it's just the age will get to them. But all right, we're going to put the new one in, put that back together. Then we got one more front mount, and then all 4 new mounts will be on it. You could all find them on individual under the Chrysler 200 playlist. So if you're doing one, you want to do the other one, see what's involved. They're out there. Okay, I started one bolt in the top one, and then you do have to move the engine a little bit. Just take a pry bar, big screwdriver might not be strong enough, but and then you could just move you could see the transmission moving whenever I pry it. That'll straighten that out so you can get the bolt in there. Just put the pry bar in for the front one. If you have to move it that way, put the pry bar in between the frame and move. You can see you can move the engine a little bit with the pry bar. Can't move it too much, but it's enough to get your bolts lined up. All right, guys, I'm gonna pry that one and put that bolt in, and then we're gonna put the front bolt in and try to line up these two. There's a tab underneath the engine mount that goes into a slot. That little tab right there, there's a slot on the frame. When you're looking at this from up top, there's the 2 bolts. Oh, that's one bolt. There's the slot. There's the 2 big bolts there. Whenever you put that back, it clicks into the frame slot. Pretty easy. Just take a look at it whenever you take it out and you put it back in, but you want to make sure it's in there. It's right in the middle of the new mount. Okay, got the top 2 bolts tightened here. And now if these bolts don't line up, you put something round in there. I mean, screwdriver might bend. This is a center punch. But if you just push on the bracket, you can see how much room it'll move. Then you can line the hole up. But that's what that hole's there for. You're not going to get nothing through it to pry off the frame. Just put something round in it and use it like a handle to move it. Right, and that's pretty much it. After tightening the top, the 4 bolts, even though there's limited visibility on the one that goes in under there like that, it lined right up. Whenever I put this in with my fingers, I just turned it on and it went right in. So if these line up, that hole's going to line up for you, hopefully. I mean, it did for me. It went right in. No fighting, because you can't even see it underneath there. I don't think the camera will pick it up, but it's that's the last one, and I'm glad it worked out. It just went right in. And remember, you know, if you need to move the engine around or need to move the mount around, that hole there, you can move the whole thing quite easily. Line everything up. All right, guys, move on to the next one. Thanks for watching. All right, guys, this is the last engine mount right here. This is the front one. It's the easiest one. That's why I always save it for last. But we got a 15 millimeter up here. It goes through the through bolt. We got 2 16 millimeters right here and right there. And we want to put a jack under the engine to support it. And again, in the corner, not in the middle of the pan. Make sure you get on the corner where it's strong. And we could actually see how bad this engine mount is. Just giving the jack a little pump. And it moves. Let me get closer, look. You see how it moves just from real light jack pressure. It's even making some noise. All right, guys, I'm going to take them bolts off, and then I'll show you how to slide the new one in. All right, see if I can get one-handed. I got everything unbolted. Just remember, the metal piece goes up front. And then this, just slide out, and then just turn it slightly and pull it out, and there you have it. It's an easy one, guys. If this is the only one you're after, you're in good shape. All right, we're going to slide the new one in, and there's a little tang on the front of it there. That goes forward. It sits like that in there. And the same way we took it out, we're going to put it back in at the top. Then we're going to spin it. It's a little hard to see in there, but it's pretty obvious what you do. The same way you took it out, you're going to put it back in like that. And you could fill where the tang is whenever that goes into the slot. That would be above the front right here. If you reach down, you could fill the slot. You can probably see it from the top too, but it clicks right in there. When you get it lined up, it'll go right into the slot hole like that. And then that's going to line up here so your bolts get lined up whenever you go in. And you want to remember to put that big metal balancer back on. This here, this goes on the front. Goes up and out like that. All right, guys, I'm going to bolt her back up and put the through bolt through. And then that one's done. All right, easy peasy. All right, one final look. There it is. That one's the easiest out of all four. But now we're going to move on. I'm going to do the axles and inner and outer tie rod ends on this also. So if you're looking for that, or coming back in the future, if you got anything to work on this car, there's going to be a lot of videos on it. So I'm going to put them under the Chrysler playlist. All right, guys. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. All right, guys. Just anytime I find a good part or a bad part, I either giving a shout out or recommending it or not recommending it, just in case anybody's in the same boat. We needed all 4 engine mounts and got a good price on the anchor ones from Rock Auto. There's all 4 boxes, or I lost one of the boxes, 3 boxes anyway, but all 4 mounts, they all fit good. There's no fitting issues. Everything fit great. It's a good set. I'd recommend it any day. All right, guys. Adios.